Delivery and communication is important. In order to avoid miscommunication, you must consider the following things. Delivery and communication is important. And in order to avoid miscommunication, you must consider who you are talking to, what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, where you're going to say it, why are you saying it, how will you say it, and to what extent are you going to say it. Delivery is important when it comes to communication. And in order to avoid miscommunication or poor communication, I, you, we, us must consider who we are talking to. What we said before, their triggers, their truths, their theories, their thoughts, their background, whether they're a middle child, bottom, the psychology of an only child, the psychology of a firstborn, the psychology of a middleborn. You gotta consider some things. And if you love a person, you'll take time to consider. You'll take time to ask, who are you? How do you like to receive communication? And you will stay humble enough to communicate always in a way that they receive it. Next, you gotta say what you're going to say. Before you communicate anything, you gotta say, who am I talking to? Who are they like? What are they like? Next, I have to communicate before I communicate, what am I going to say? Sometimes it's best before you communicate a person to write down what you're going to say and bring that paper with you. If you know you're going to have a challenging conversation with someone or you're nervous about it, you don't know what they're going to say, write down what you're going to say. It's okay to put your heart on paper, because when you put your heart on paper, then you get a chance for the mind of God and the Spirit of God to say, take this sentence out. You don't need to say, that's not biblical, that's not right, that's not correct, that doesn't fit the occasion, that's not going to build them up, that's not going to give grace to her, that's going to make that person quick to anger, quick to talk. Consider what you're going to say. You got to consider when you're going to say it. Man, if they just got home and they're tired, that's probably the wrong time to talk. It's probably the wrong time to talk to a person when they're hungry, when they just got home, or I ain't gonna say the other word. When they're sexually charged. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are probably the wrong times, man. It's probably the wrong time when you know that a person is going through a hurtful experience. It's probably the wrong time when a person is in the middle of something else. Now, if it's something that trumps some of those things, then you have the right as a wife and a husband. But you got to say, you know what? Let me give him a plate to eat first. Let me let her relax for a little bit, and then I'm going to communicate. I tell this to every person. It's best to just make sure a person is calm and ready to receive and put you on game. It's hard for a person to be disconnected from you if you don't serve them first. It takes humility to do this. It takes humility to serve even when you have hurt to express. But or whatever to express. Put a cooked meal before them. Ladies, sit on his lap if you're married. Offer service. Offer act of kindness first. Take them from a place of tension and uneasiness. Bring them into a place of calmness. And then when you found them with a belly full and a back rubbed and love expressed, then you can communicate how you feel. Later on, I'm going to talk about the communication sandwich. I can talk about it now. Celebrate, critique, celebrate. Create a climate where you're serving first, you're considering first. And then when you sat on his lap, or you done gave him a meal, or you done ran her bath water, and you done did all these things, you done rubbed her back, then you celebrate them. You know what? You're doing a real good job, man. I love when you do this. Man, you're awesome when you do this. But there are some things that are kind of bothering me, babe. You know, I love you, man. You are amazing, man. You provide, find something good that they do. You love me, babe. You really take care of things. But there's some things that bothers me. I don't like it when you say things like this. What you did yesterday kind of really affected me, babe. And while you expressing your critique, you look them in their eyes and you express from love that I celebrate you, that I love you. And then when you critique them, then you add another celebratory statement like, babe, babe, I know you're doing your best. I know you work hard. I know, babe, you get busy around tax season. Babe, I know, but you great, but I'm just making sure you understand my heart. And I promise you, When their belly is full and their back has been rubbed, the bathwater has been set, act of kindness has been expressed, and they have been calm, they'll receive your critique softly. And they will actually, if they're a good-hearted person that loves and fears God and loves and honors you, they'll make changes. But when they come home, you hit them, and when you ain't even made nothing, you ain't did nothing, you just hit them hard, you expect them to blow up. When you're going to say it, where are you going to say it? You can't say certain things in the living room. You about to break up with a man in your living room. You don't know how he's going to take it. He might start swinging on you. He might get mad and start hurting you. He might rape you. You don't know what's going to happen. You got to consider where you say these things. The best things to say certain things is privately, publicly. Privately, publicly is the best way to say things. A bench that's off to the side, that's private, but it's in a public arena. It's not always good to communicate certain things to a person that you may not know their temperament. We're talking about those in the cloud phase and the cement phase. And you know when it's time to break up, you know it's time to shut it down. You can't communicate certain things privately. So I'm not going to communicate things privately, publicly. That's why you can't always invite people to your home. You can't let people know where you work and where you live. You can't let people know certain things because you people crazy. That's why I leave that dating stuff, that relationship stuff with God, so that you won't be with a crazy. Everybody got some craziness in them. See, I ain't saying everybody crazy, you know what I mean? Being human, bring some humor to this. But people crazy out here, man. You breaking up with certain people have lost their lives communicating privately. Sometimes you got to communicate privately, publicly. Where you're going to say it. Why are you saying it? What's your motives? Are you manipulative, or are you really ready to modify or really change if a person does say something truth that may go against your truths, or may have a theory, thoughts that, or whatever that can bring common ground? Why are you saying that? Are you saying this to gain more control in the relationship? Are you saying this to tear them down? Are you saying this because you want to manipulate that man to get you something for Christmas? Are you saying this because you want to manipulate your woman to get you sex? Why are you saying it? Are you saying hollow words to get her with her legs open? Are you saying hollow words just to get his wallet open? Why are you saying these things? How will you say it? You know what? Let me make sure my hollow words become full, not full of heat, but full of help. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to really examine how I'm going to say this. Last but not least, to what extent are you going to say it? Man, ain't nobody got time to listen to certain things for no 2 hours. To what extent, man? Like, are you going to continue to say the same thing over and over again and not observing the change that person is doing? You're saying stuff, but that person, and you don't know what challenges is keeping that person from growing. But if you see some growth, celebrate the 1%. Don't have expectation of, well, you should be 16%. Now, when it comes to certain things, they better be on their game. So many people don't even observe the growth, the little growth that a person is doing. They just keep saying the same thing over and over again, or they say it for a long period of time, and the person's like, I got it, I heard you. But when you say those words, when you say I got it and I heard you, you got to make sure that you have corresponding actions that you heard, or they will keep bringing it up over and over again. And you better, when a person brings it up, they actually mean they care about the relationship. When they become silent, that's when you should worry.